It looks like we're live streaming, guys.
Hey, Melanie, I don't know if you heard Jennifer, but we're officially live streaming. So it's 3:28 on our end, but anytime you want to start the meeting, we're official.
Okay, thank you. All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Melanie Clark, and I'd like to welcome you and thank you for joining us today virtually. The time is 3:29, and I'd like to call this meeting of the Board of Trustees to order. Because this meeting is being held virtually, we will begin with a roll call to establish attendance and a quorum.
Okay, Melanie, would you like for me to do the roll call?
If you're able, that would be great.
Okay, I sure will. Please respond with the aye if you're here. Dr. Tom Benzing,
Aye.
Ms. Sarah Bowman,
Aye.
Mr. Richard Ratcher,
Aye.
Ms. Lisa Carter,
Aye.
Dr. Melanie Clark,
Aye.
Mr. Will Clements, Dr. Art Evans,
Aye.
Dr. David Firth,
Aye.
Ms. Lauren Hall,
Aye.
sorry,
Aye.
Ms. Kathy Hinker,
Aye.
Ms. Emma Ito is absent for the vote. Ms. Catherine McGuire is absent for the vote. Dr. Carol Nash,
Aye.
Dr. Nathan Sanford,
Thank you for that title I didn't earn, but I'm here.
Congrats.
Mr. Nathan Sanford, and Dr. Mindy Van de Velder, and she is absent for the votes. We have 3 absents, so we have quorum.
Okay. Thank you, Jennifer. Great. We have quorum. We have some new trustees with us today who I will introduce right after we take care of our first action item. The first action item today is approval of the minutes from our prior meetings. And the minutes that have been provided to you are those from August 22nd and November 15th. We didn't have a quorum at our last meeting to approve those. So you've had those in advance, and at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, thank you. There's a first and a second. Is there any discussion regarding either set of minutes? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, if you could say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Okay, great. The motion carries and both sets of minutes are approved. Moving to the chair's report, let me first start with super pleased to introduce some new trustees to the Virginia Museum of Natural History Board. We are grateful for your willingness to serve and look forward to working with you and seeing you in person. But I'd like to start, and I'm going to just give you a second. I have a brief introduction, but give you a second to say anything you'd like to share in addition. First, we have Mr. Richard Bratcher, who goes by Dick, and he has an extensive background in technology and facilities management, a number of years of service in the Commonwealth, but also most recently served and retired as the Vice President for Facilities Management and Real Property at Longwood University. So welcome, Dick.
Well, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to working with this group. I've had a chance to go down and visit the museum, and I'm just really impressed with the facility, the staff, and everything that's going on down there. Looking forward to working with you.
Great. Thank you for being here. And our second new trustee is Ms. Catherine McGuire. She is the Chief Advocacy Officer with American Psychological Association with more than 30 years of experience in advocacy, lobbying, policy development, and strategic communications across government and private industry. And we are so glad that you're here with us today.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, good, good. Thank you. Well, first of all, I am just honored to join the board. Besides all the many years that I have spent in close proximity of the U.S. Capitol, I do. I'm hoping to bring my background in advocacy, especially in education and STEM, to the board. By way of my own background, I grew up in Wyoming, literally a block from the campus. I have always held. Actually, most of my childhood was spent around the wonderful natural history of Wyoming. And one of the things that attracted me to the museum was when I had learned about the partnership with Lynchburg, and that there were these digs going on back in my home state. And I thought, wow, how fantastic, kind of bringing it home. So I'm looking forward to those linkages and looking forward to getting to know you all in person.
Great, thank you. We look forward to meeting both of you in person at our next meeting in May. Next, I'd like to read the 2026-27 slate of officers as presented by the nominating committee. As a reminder, this is a first reading, and the slate will be brought forward for action at our next meeting on May 16th. And for first reading, the chair, Melanie Clark, vice chair, Lauren Hall, treasurer, Will Clements, and at this time, the position of secretary remains to be determined, and I will be in touch with someone on this call about that. So that's our first reading. And now we'll move over to some the exciting part. And first, we want to move to our staff spotlight. And it's my pleasure to recognize Ms. Lila Dougherty for her work and contributions to the museum, and she's just hit the ground running. And so I'm so glad you're here with us, and I'm just going to turn mute on and let you share all the wonderful things about you and the things that you're doing at the museum.
Great, thank you so much. Everyone can hear me okay? Okay, cool. I'm gonna share my screen. Everyone can see that okay?
Looks perfect.
Great. Awesome, thank you. So my name's Lila. I am the new exhibits project manager here at the museum. I'm gonna talk about some things about me and my personal life just to get me to know me a little bit better. Something I enjoy doing is taking pictures of birds. Had to put it up front because I'm obsessed with them. And interestingly enough, I already have birded with some of my colleagues here. These two pictures were taken from the Martinsville Winter Bird Count last year, so pretty cool. I have three cats with my fiance, Luna, Rolo, and Tofu. Tofu was actually rescued in 2025, so you can see him under that little step with a pretty severe eye infection, but this is him striving. He's bigger than his brother now, not even a year old. And then I actually got engaged in 2025 in October to my fiance Samar, so that was really fun and exciting. Something else about me is I love working with animals. A lot of these pictures are volunteer positions that I've had. I've had three different ones. One working with specifically birds. One was Southwest Wildlife Conservation, so it was animals in Arizona. And I was mainly making enrichment for them. And then I also have volunteered at the Maryland Zoo recording data on elephants and leopards. And then recently I did a 6-month internship creating enrichment items and working on behavioral assessments at the Toledo Zoo. But the highlight of all of this was probably getting to interact with an octopus, like touching it and just being that close to it for a while. So it was really cool. That was at the Toledo Zoo. So my background is in industrial design. I have a bachelor's from Iowa State. as well as a master's from the University of Pennsylvania in animal behavior and welfare. And there's a lot of different ways I apply my skills, knowledge, and background to this specific job. One of them is collaborative brainstorming. I got very into learning different methods on how to ideate ideas with colleagues and teams. And I learned this in my undergraduate degree in industrial design. This was recently facilitated here at the museum for the upcoming Young Explorers Center. Um, and then I also have a lot of industry experience. My most recent museum job was at the Musical Instrument Museum in Phoenix, Arizona. I learned a lot there. It was really awesome. Uh, and I also know I have industry experience from design, but I also do have an animal background, as you've seen. Uh, so I presented at the AZA conference last year, which also involved my previous slide showing the ideation sessions, and I showed how those industrial design ideation techniques that are designed to be for humans can be applied to animals as well. And then I also feel that I am pretty good at visual storytelling. So, for example, internally, I would show my team on the image on the left, which was made in Photoshop, just so they have an idea and can move forward with the actual graphics that would be for the external audience, being the visitors of the museum. And that on the right is the actual picture it ended up being in the exhibit. And this is some of the consistent brand language I created for the VA 250 event and VA 250 exhibits that will be shown year round this year. And then design proficiency. So I know a lot of different design softwares. So I can do graphic design, but I also have had jobs 3D modeling and printing and can use AutoCAD and SketchUp. This was measured and transferred to AutoCAD into a drawing, and then I also modeled it for the upcoming Young Explorer Center Gallery, which is currently the temporary exhibits. And then I just wanted to briefly go over my upcoming projects and current projects. So for VA 250, creating the consistent brand language as I showed, and just making sure we're able to tell the importance of Thomas Jefferson and his role in Virginia's history. We're undergoing the temporary exhibits gallery and just finished painting that space and are still currently getting it ready for the next temporary exhibit that will be placed in it. And then the Young Explorer Center is going to be a space for our young visitors and their family to enjoy and learn. And I'm really excited to be part of that project as well. And then I just do a lot of various graphic design projects. That's a big chunk of my job, and I really enjoy it, and everyone's very kind. And that is all. Thank you so much. And you guys can write down my email if you need to reach out.
Thank you, Lila. Does anyone have any questions for Lila? Well, thank you so much for the work you're doing on behalf of the museum. I appreciate the photos you shared. You and your fiance are undoubtedly going to love your time in Southern Virginia and at the museum, and your passion for wildlife and learning and collaborating and all the post-its are going to complement all the things that we've got going on at the museum. So we're so glad to have you, and thank you for preparing that presentation.
Thank you.
All right, now we're going to transition to a deep dive presentation presented by our Christy Dethridge and learn a little bit more about the education and services that she and her team provide. So I'll turn it over to you, Christy.
Thank you so much. And thank you to Jennifer, who's getting my slides ready. The Education Department presented this past November at the Virginia Association of Science Teachers annual conference. And our presentation focused on the power of real. And once that little thingy goes away.
What are you trying to do?
She's waiting for the black, but yeah, the top to go away so I can spell it. I don't know why it takes so long.
You can click this icon right here. It'll have the same effect.
Oh, there we go. Hopefully everyone can see that now. Awesome, thank you. So yes, we had a wonderful time presenting this past November at the VAST annual conference. And so we focused on the power of real. We're asked a lot of questions during our education programs. No matter what type of programming that we're conducting, one of the most asked questions we receive is it real? And, you know, that's a very powerful question at the museum. And so whether it is when a student enters the museum and they're bombarded with, you know, the skeletons and taxidermy mounts, or if it's during our outreach programs with some of our animal ambassadors, you know, when we share those with the classes, it can be overwhelming. You know, working with fossils, animal furs can be overwhelming. So curious minds then start to set to action, trying to discern what is real. And like I said, that can be very powerful. And so what we try to do, we utilize a variety of the specimens with our programs. And with that, we craft their story, their history, their significance, future. And of course, we're correlating all of those science and history standards of learning during the programs, but all of these things are of great importance. The museum has over 10 million items in its collections, ranging from the tiniest of insects, you know, to the large sauropod dinosaur bones. Our curators are constantly acquiring new material from fieldwork, from orphan collections, from other institutions. And so specimens that are deemed not research quality are then categorized as education collection, whether it stays with the specific department or becomes accessioned into our department's collection for programming and exhibit usage. But the education department is very fortunate to have the opportunity to collaborate with the museum curators and the research staff and utilize all of these collections as a powerful tool for thought-provoking, engaging, and hands-on programs. You know, as tangible physical records of biodiversity, these museum specimens really have an unparalleled ability to intrigue and excite students of all backgrounds. And so we design our programs to complement the classroom curriculum and allow students to interact with these real artifacts, these real fossils and specimens, but it's engaging their senses and providing a learning experience that can then hopefully lead to better information retention, you know, being able to interpret that information in a different way. For example, Annabelle worked with our paleo team to develop a new program. It's called Early Birds, and it focuses on how fossils provide evidence of the types of organisms that lived long ago, as well as their environments. So we utilize the Pelagornis replica on the Gene S. Adams Education Pavilion, along with real and replica fossils for students to then measure, compare, and contrast various bird humeri, bones, with that of the Pelagornis. The size of these ancient creatures can sometimes be very abstract for students, along with that concept of time and how long ago these creatures roamed the earth. So having these fossils to touch and measure provides that concrete evidence for students to absorb. Part of that program, the students use their collective measurements to average the number of students needed to equal the wingspan of the Pelagornis, which is quite funny and quite impressive when they're out on the pavilion. Utilizing real specimens, it creates a situation of active learning. It stimulates observations, questions, albeit it might be a lot of them, but also interpretation. Some of the students that we work with, they have never seen an opossum or a beaver. So being able to touch, smell the animal first, it really helps embrace their curiosity and makes learning about adaptations and characteristics more dynamic. And so we truly enjoy being able to share the powerful story of the museum's amazing artifacts, fossils, and specimens when we are asked, is it real? So thank you. Just a little bit about our programs. Yeah. Thank you. Any questions?
Christy, thank you. And I hope everyone noted that when she began, she referenced that this presentation was shared at VAST, which is the Virginia Association for Science Teachers, I believe. So we're always contributing across the Commonwealth and sharing the good work that we're doing here in Southern Virginia. So thank you for that great presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, we're at the consent agenda now. The items included are Treasurer's Report, Facilities Report, Waynesboro Advocacy Committee Report, Committee Composition Report, and then the adoption of the bylaws. These materials have been distributed in advance. The purpose of the consent agenda is to allow us to act efficiently on routine matters. Because there is an update to the bylaws regarding a board quorum, that portion will be voted on separately. So that is not part of the consent agenda. And we will hear an update from Ambria Wood, our representative with the Office of Attorney General, after we approve the first 4 items in the consent agenda, if there is a motion to do so.
Hey, Melanie, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Before we get into that, thanks to a sharp-eyed trustee, the budget document that has our quarterly numbers and the proposed budget for next fiscal year, which is under my report, there was a spreadsheet issue, so I need to correct a couple of numbers, and I'm just going to do the quarterly statement that ends December 30th. It basically shows that we have a budget of $4,654,000. It actually should be $4,676,000. So it doesn't change anything operationally or anything, but it was an error of copying formula from one spreadsheet to another. So just in case somebody else caught that and just wanted to make sure everything was accurate. Again, there's another similar issue with the other budget document. We'll cover that in the executive director's report.
Okay. All right, so just I want to make sure I'm clear. The consent agenda still includes those 4 items, or is there something you'd prefer I pull out?
No, it's just that the treasurer's report includes the quarterly budget report, and I just read that final budget number, budget for this fiscal year was seen as 4.676 million.
Okay, thank you.
Should the motion for approval include a friendly amendment then?
As director, I put in that there could be a motion passed that basically changes that those number values, and as such, we can just forward that to the board following the meeting, and that would make the change official.
Okay. Okay, I would love to entertain that motion.
So moved.
Seconded.
All right, are there any discussion or is there any discussion about these items?
Sorry,
Okay.
couldn't quite get my hand raised there. Catherine McGuire. I saw that the adoption of the bylaws was on that consent agenda, and I just had a couple questions about that. And I think it was the more questions pertaining to the red line that was shared. Just trying to put all the pieces together, mind you. But the question where I got confused was that and who am I just addressing this to you, Melanie, or just to everyone?
Everyone, I think, and you
Okay,
mentioned
everyone.
the bylaws. Is that?
Yeah, because is that the same
Okay.
thing that's on the consent, that item on the consent agenda?
Yes, we're actually going to discuss that separately.
Oh, okay. I thought you just said, does everybody approve everything on the
Oh,
consent
okay.
agenda?
No,
I apologize.
I'm going to come right back to you.
Okay.
All right. So we had a motion and second to approve the first four items with the addendum yes, addendum. And no discussion that I heard.
Right.
Okay. If we so hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All right. Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. All right, now I want to go back to the adoption of the bylaws. And I actually, Ambria, I'll start with you if you don't mind sharing an update. And then Catherine, if you still have a question, that would be the best time to bring that up.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Ambria Wood on behalf of the Office of Attorney General. Can everyone hear me? So the museum posed a question relating to quorum for the museum. The museum in the Code of Virginia has a quorum statute, which is Virginia Code Section 10.1-2008, which basically says that a simple majority of members of the board then serving shall constitute a quorum. And so essentially, we looked at that language, which was also already in your previous bylaws, and decided that to add some clarification regarding that language, specifically like what does it mean to say then serving, which is somewhat unique to the museum. And so we essentially interpreted that to mean that if there are vacancies on the board, it does not count against the quorum. So since there are a fixed number of board of trustees on the museum, which is 15, if at any time they're less than 15, then instead of having to have 8 out of 15 in order to constitute a quorum, then if there are 4 vacancies, for example, then the quorum will be based on 11. And so you would only need 6 board of trustee members who are then serving to constitute a quorum for that meeting. And so based upon that, the new language kind of flushes that out further so that in the future we don't have any questions regarding quorum.
And just to provide a little bit of context, particularly for the newer board members, when we lost some board members for various reasons, we're supposed to have 15. There was a point where indeed we did have 11, but due to some misinterpretations, we were advised that a quorum still represented 8 of those 11 people, and that caused us to go through many meetings without a quorum. So what this does is it gives us a situation where we are properly interpreting the bylaws to be a quorum of the number of active trustees serving.
I think this makes good sense.
Yeah, and Ambria, if I could, you answered part of my questions, but I think the thing, and this does come from a good place as a new board member, is that quorums, just by way of why do we have quorums, for appointed boards, generally goes to the heart of it, is the fiduciary responsibilities, right? And so I in changing or clarifying that phrase, then serving, I just wanted to make sure from a legal perspective, by changing or clarifying that definition in a different way, that it doesn't undermine the fiduciary responsibilities that we have as boards
No,
of
it doesn't
trustees.
undermine the fiduciary responsibilities that you have. Again, that language that not every single board has a quorum statute. So the museum is unique in that it actually has a quorum statute. Right. And then in looking back at the legislative history, they had revised that quorum statute some years ago to then add then a simple majority of the board members then serving. And so, and in looking at plain language interpretation, they added then serving for a reason, right? The legislature did. And so simply interpreting it to me that if there are vacancies on the board, then it does not count against the quorum. And so, that's how we interpreted it, which is essentially, in line with the actual statute. So there shouldn't be any issues with your fiduciary duties.
Thank you. I appreciate the clarification.
You're welcome.
All right, any other questions regarding this? All right, is there a motion to approve the adoption of the bylaws as noted?
This is Nathan. I move that we approve them as noted.
Sarah seconds.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any additional discussion or questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, thank you. The motion carries. And thank you for the feedback and the clarification as well, Ambria. Next on our agenda is the strategic plan report, specifically the 2025 to 2030 strategic plan. This work began more than a year ago with a strategic planning session at the Danville Science Center, almost 2 years ago if we carry to the fall of this year. And it reflects extensive collaboration among staff and trustees. And I want to sincerely thank everyone for your input and thoughtful feedback throughout this process. And I'm excited that we do have a quorum today so that we can approve this clear roadmap for our future. And I know we've received this document a number of times and discussed it. Joe, is there anything that you want to add before we move forward on a vote?
No, I appreciate everyone providing input along the way.
All right, perfect. Is there a motion to approve the strategic plan?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion regarding this? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, perfect. That motion carries. We will now hear from research and collections. And I think maybe that's Ben or Joe.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to pass this over to Ben.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ben, I could not see you. Thank you for being here.
Hiding in the back. Well, the main thing I want to inform you all of is that in early January, we completed our months-long search for our new herpetology curator. So that was not an easy process. We brought 3 people to the museum, and after much debate, we decided to go with Dr. Jackson Roberts. So we'll now have 2 curators named Jackson, which will be deeply confusing, but well worth it. Jackson Roberts was born and raised in Nashville, received his undergraduate degree from Rhodes College in Memphis, has his master's degree from Auburn University and his PhD from Louisiana State University. and he's currently the zoology collections manager at the Sternberg Museum of Natural History in Hays, Kansas. So he is going to be starting in June, and he's a really interesting researcher. His specialty is venomous snakes. That's where his passion is. Really excited to study copperheads in this part of Virginia. But he also has some really interesting cross-disciplinary talents. He is fascinated by parasites of amphibians and reptiles, has done a lot of work with those. And he even has some ichthyology background, so he can do some work in our fish collection, which is, not a huge collection, but really hasn't been touched all that much in the time we've had it. So yeah, I think I speak for everyone. I want to say we're really excited to bring him on board, and as soon as we bring him on board, we look forward to introducing him to all of y'all. So thank you.
Thank you, Ben. And Art, I don't know if you had anything you wanted to add.
Sure. I just want to thank Ben for that update, and I want to thank all of the staff for their hard work in organizing the interviews. I know it's a very time-consuming and intensive process to find the very best candidate and then make an offer and then get it all sorted out. So I look forward to meeting the new curator of herpetology this summer, if possible. So thank you again for doing that. I just want to quickly say that we did not have a meeting this quarter. The Research and Collections Committee, there was no need to have one, so we didn't. And I just want to let everybody know that I've very much enjoyed serving as the chair of this committee for nearly a decade. And as of today, this will be my last meeting as chair. I'll be stepping back, and this is all towards eventually rolling off the board in May. So I hear that we have a new chair all ready to go. Melanie, if you want to announce that at this time, that would be great. But thank you very much, all.
Well, thank you, Art. And yes, Carol Nash has been on this committee as well, and look forward to that transition. And we always hate to see folks leave, but there are bylaws in place as to how many terms you can serve, and I think you're like officially you've maxed out, which is unfortunate for us. But I look forward to you continuing to help and assist as needed.
Well, thank you. I'll be here as a research associate. I've done that for 25 years, and I doubt if I'll make another 25, but I'll give it a go.
All right, thank you so much. Next is our Education and Public Programs report from Nathan.
Hello, everyone. Much like Research and Collections, we also did not meet this quarter, but that's because we met remotely last time, so we can't do that twice in a row. But Christy was kind enough to provide a summary and some of the things that I were going to highlight. She already mentioned with the presentation at VAST, at the Power of Real, which was an excellent presentation. I'm sure that was well received. But basically, I just want to focus on the fact that the education department as a whole stays extremely busy. So in the quarter alone, and we're talking the last 3 months of the year 2025, 196 different programs and 3,163 number in terms of children or students served. So really impressive work. It's easy to sometimes get lost in all the other really cool stuff that we do, but that education team is working hard and pumping out some big numbers. So thank you, Christy and team. And that's really all I have for you.
Okay, thank you so much. We will move now to the Executive Director's report. Dr. Kuiper has museum updates and events, followed by the advancement report from Ryan Barber and the first reading of the 26-27 budget from Jonathan Martin.
Thank you, Melanie. Couple of things. First of all, as far as our strategic plan goes, we have gotten started. We've already been working off the draft plan, and staff have made good progress. I'll highlight a couple of things here. The one thing that I want to bring up of deep significance is, as you all know, our proposed VMNH Waynesboro campus in the Shenandoah Valley was not part of the outgoing budget of Governor Youngkin. However, we do have support from our local senator and local delegate who have both put in budget adjustment requests with the General Assembly. And I know Tom has been busy wearing multiple hats at the General Assembly. And Tom, I know I saw a few emails go around and so forth. I don't know if you want to give a quick synopsis of what you've learned or discussed during your experiences.
Sure, happy to. Yeah, I participated in what's called Conservation Lobby Day on Wednesday. And as part of that activity, I visited 12 different legislators, either the legislator themselves or their staff, with a brief describing the Waynesboro campus together with specific budget amendments coming from Delegate McLaughlin and Senator Head. And I think I got the message out there. I can't say what's going to happen. The budget process is quite opaque, but Delegate McLaughlin said that anybody that she's talked to or among her colleagues has said it's a great idea. I also was encouraged by Delegate Runyon, who is my delegate, who said that the financials look better than they had forecast. So that's a good thing as well. Obviously, we're looking for about $3.5 million for the working drawings, which would be the next step in the process, and then the construction money of $32 million. So we'll see. And Budget Sunday is one to circle on your calendar. That's Sunday, February 22nd, and that's when we'll find out whether or not we make it into the amended budget from the General Assembly, which then would go on to the new governor.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. And I'll be up there doing general museum advocacy and passing out information to our delegates and senators with at least Jonathan. Is that the 16th and 17th? 17th. Right, so we'll be up in Richmond the 16th, 17th. We'll be in the General Assembly building on the 17th. If anybody would like to join us, just reach out. It's kind of a whirlwind activity, but yeah, it's certainly very interesting to see how everything works and whatnot. So since we also talked about new staff, first of all, I just want to say coincidentally, with Dr. Roberts coming on board very shortly and Lila starting with us, and Christy, of course, has a full complement of educators working with her now. This is going to be the first time in I don't know how long that we've had a full complement of staff on board, as well as a full complement of trustees. So, and I tell you, it makes a difference. I think with having 7 curators present, we will see just more progress and a lot more support during our family science festivals and so forth. And if we, again, kind of turn our attention to the strategic plan, if we look through a number of spaces in the report, talking about the VA 250 exhibit, the potential development of traveling exhibits, doing science storytelling, and the Young Explorers Center, amongst other things. That was all because we got that key staffer in place. And so when you have a staff that, I haven't counted in a while, we have about 37 full-time employees. It's not the biggest staff in the world, not the smallest either. We're lucky to have them all. But when we are down just a couple of staffers, it really does make a difference. And the extra part-time jobs that everybody takes on starts to feel quite significant. So we're really excited about that. And then on top of that, of course, we are now beginning to see the continued progress of the proper management of the endowment. So again, for those who are new, the museum hit the $1 million mark in its endowment last March. Very shortly afterwards, the Frank Mariel's gift came through, and we're now just shy of $6 million in the endowment. And it's continuing to be well managed. The foundation met and had a meeting on its future. It's going to be moved from the CDs that it was originally parked in. We're going to be taking some of that revenue and investing it into the continued progress in the Young Explorers Center. And as such, traditionally, we looked at our education committee as both handling exhibits and education programs. So in time for the last quarter of this fiscal year, we're going to provide you with some input on where we see the direction of the Young Explorers Center going, what are some of the experiences that we're hoping to bring there, and some other facets of its operation. And we would like to have that kind of outside independent look at where we're going, because sometimes having that fresh set of eyes on a project can always be helpful. So you'll be hearing about that coming down the line. So speaking of funding, I'll also say it's time. I know Elizabeth Carter is from the foundation is on board with us on the Zoom, and the foundation was very successful recently in its annual fund push. Now you might wonder, okay, what does the community do? And they see that we got this amazing gift from Mr. Mariels. Is that going to cause them maybe to look to throw their philanthropy and their generosity elsewhere? Well, we actually had it was about a 24% increase in the annual fund here as of January 31st. So the community is still continuing to be very supportive of us, and I think the hard work of the foundation speaks to that, and that's going to really be important for us going forward, of course. Now, all that said, how can the Board of Trustees help? So we do have an opportunity. We were always talking, we mentioned this quite a bit. If you see prospects, people want to get involved in the museum in some way, whether it's for some kind of long-term relationship that they develop with us, say that might lead to a planned gift, which is the way we've grown our endowment, or if there's some other way, such as immediate gifts through the annual fund or supporting a particular area of the museum. Well, the new opportunity is going to be that Young Explorer Center. And so what I would encourage you all is that if you see somebody or know somebody who is particularly interested in early childhood education, you can work it out such that we will host that person or that company or whatever here at the museum, and we'll do a hard hat tour of the Young Explorer Center as we begin to tear galleries apart and reassemble them to take on their new mission. And a lot of people get really excited by that, to be in on the ground floor and get that sneak peek, that behind the scenes look at an operation. This is a great way to introduce someone to what we're doing and what we propose to do in the future. And if you give us just a little bit of notice, we can put it on the calendar, and we can even make the space look even a little more exciting in some way. We'll spill some dirt and put some hard hats out and so forth, So it could be a nice, way for you to engage with the museum in a different way. It'd be a way for us to grow our supportive base. So I encourage you to look for those folks or those businesses that might be interested in that. So with that, what I want to do is pass things over to Ryan to walk through the advancement report, which you have in your packet.
All right. Well, thanks, Joe. So, I just want to highlight some of the big picture items. So we've touched on a lot of it so far. But overall, looking at the report, you can see revenue is strong, both on the museum side and the foundation side. So revenue on the museum side combined is up just over 12% over last year. So that's admissions, store revenue, small things like book sales. So great trends there. Part of that's, of course, festivals, but just everyday visitation is going pretty well. So, and with that, we're seeing visitation continue to climb. So we're up 8% over last year through the second quarter. So there's not huge spikes and drops, but steady growth, which is what we want. So obviously we want to continue to grow that. We're not satisfied, where we are, never are, but definitely, whether it's festivals, education programs, everything combines to reach those goals. So great trends there. Zip code distribution is looking good. So we're seeing this steady trend of right around 70% of our visitors coming from outside Martinsville Henry County. So that's great to see. That's of course festivals, but again, everyday visitation. And festivals in particular draw people from multiple states. So, for example, like at a Dino Festival, we often see 30 plus states represented through the zip codes. Some of those folks are coming through for other reasons, but more and more people are coming for the festival. It's become a destination. So that's always great to see. Grants and partnerships. So we have a number of grants and partnerships in process for a variety of things. So it's research, education, exhibits, festivals, all the different things that we do. And the great thing is we've got pending partnerships all the way through the end of 2027. So we're trying to work that far ahead to get support for things like festivals, exhibits, research, whatever it might be. So the more we can plan long term, that's going to be more attractive. We talked about estate gifts. We have also another pending estate gift from a longtime donor, former board member. We haven't heard word yet on specific amounts, but that should come in before the next board meeting. So of course we'll share that news. And overall, we're looking at, like Joe mentioned, the endowment is being rolled over from the CDs. So as the money was received, put in CDs just in short term. So those are, as those expire, the money's being transferred to the market. So good news there. It's a very solid plan and seeing steady growth with the endowment as well. Lots of upcoming events. We'll talk more about that, but we've got some VA 250 events. We've got the Bridgerton themed event March 21st, and of course upcoming festivals as well. I'm happy to answer any questions, but that's the very big picture highlights. Happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, the next event is February. Well, actually, we have an event tomorrow. Yeah, forgot about that. Tomorrow is not a festival. We just call it Science Saturday. It's kind of just an opportunity for us to turn part of the museum inside out. So we're going to be highlighting the bug lab. So we will have our curators on the floor. I'll be out on the floor. Christy and her team will be on the floor. We'll have master naturalists and who else? We have special guests.
Yes, so we have Bee City, a local group, and we also have master naturalist, like you mentioned, and then Philpott Lake, which is a U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, very close to us. They are bringing one of their rangers with some material. I think that's it.
So this is just another way that we look outwards towards the community, give them something extra, an extra special experience, especially you get to meet museum workers and so forth. And then after that, on February 19th, is our VA 250 event. So Lila and team, this was a good group of people from all areas of the museum who got together. We kind of put some extra materials out on the floor that relate back to Thomas Jefferson. So we're doing things in a Thomas Jefferson theme. And so we have an event that's free for our members and our board members too. And so you can all come if you like, but on February 19th at 5:30, we're going to have just a celebration of Virginia's 250th with the focus on Thomas Jefferson again. We're going to have some custom-made beer that is made with Thomas Jefferson's original recipe. We're going to have food, including some traditional foods and so forth. We have a lecturer from Ferrum College. Jennifer, who's our guest that night?
Dr. Tim Daniels. He's currently the director of Western Civilization or World History for the College Board.
And the part of the exhibit and part of our theme that night is going to be focusing on the clash between Thomas Jefferson and French naturalist Buffon, who coined the term the American degeneracy, which Thomas Jefferson, of course, wrote. And part of the reason he wrote the book, Notes on the State of Virginia, he wrote that to kind of dispel a lot of the mythology that person had put out into the world. And as we've reported on in the past, we have now got on display, on proper display, that in an archival case, an original copy of Jefferson's book that will be on display for the rest of the year. So that was made possible with a gift from one of our foundation board members. So please, if you have a chance, come by and say hi to our members and our donors and so forth. You are all welcome. So where are we?
First reading.
Oh, okay, all right. I think I've covered everything in the report. Melanie, unless there's anything else you want me to report on, we can move on to the first reading.
Hey, Tom, do you have a question?
No, I just wanted to point out that in the events calendar, you could add the science talk that's going to be coming up at the Wayne Theater. That's Tuesday, February 17th. It'll be a really good talk. It's about rare and unique plants in Augusta County in the Central Appalachian Mountains in Virginia. We live stream those, so those are something if you're not even in Waynesboro, you can watch online. And I would just follow the Facebook feed for the museum for updated talks like that. We had a great turnout for January. We had the most in the theater we've ever seen. Well over 100 people came out for our science talk in January, and it continues to be a way to keep the museum in front of the Waynesboro community. So it's a great opportunity for us to update folks on what's going on. We'll have two more this season, March and April, and then we take the summer off and we start back in September. So look for that talk, February 17th at 7 p.m.
I know.
Sorry.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I think Tom mentioned that we record, they are live streamed on YouTube and they're also archived. So if you miss it.
Catherine, did you have?
I was gonna have a, yeah. Well, first of all, I was gonna say what an impressive set of activities, and just the community outreach is incredibly impressive, and it's hard to even look at. I mean, there's something for everybody here, which I think is wonderful to see. You mentioned something about the Bridgerton evening on March 21st, and I just from a higher level, are these different types of events where you'd prefer to have Board of Trustees members there, or you encourage them, or I just want to make sure I'm getting off on the right foot.
Yeah, thank you for asking. First of all, so we're calling this Starlington. Of course, our address is 21 Starling Avenue, so we don't want to violate copyright.
There you go.
Right. You don't have to, we do
true.
encourage you to come in character. So the past 2 years we had run Speakeasy on Starling and people came in their best 20s outfits and so forth. A lot of fun. This year we'll do the Starlington event and whatnot. And yeah, board members are certainly welcome. The vast majority of the people who show up to these things are either regular attendees who buy up our tickets, that take memberships, who donate to our annual fund, and so forth. So to have board representation there is always very much welcome. The foundation board has traditionally done a very good job attending events, but as I just kind of look through from recent events, I've seen Melanie, I've seen Tom, I've seen Art, and I'm sorry if I'm missing others, but yeah, we've had pretty good participation at everything from festivals to kind of these more social events and so forth. And again, and Catherine, as you're new, the Board of Trustees, with just a couple of exceptions, is all over the map, right? So, you're one of our kind of assistant trustees. The foundation board, again, it's not universal, but there's a lot more local focus, but we do have representatives from all over the Commonwealth and so forth. So we do have pretty good representation at our events from that leadership.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I had this later, but I'll just note it now. So in addition to attending and putting on your best gown or coattails, we are also encouraged to submit or provide a silent auction item during the month of February. And the silent auction items can be smaller to larger, really to have appeal to anyone that might be interested in bidding on them. And so those can be provided to Jennifer anytime during the month of February, and certainly could coordinate getting that to her. And so I wanted to share that.
And we can help pick up donations as well and so forth. There's always somebody from the staff going somewhere. So we can work that out.
Fantastic. If there's nothing else, it'd be my pleasure to start with the budget. So it's an exciting time for the fiscal office at the museum here. Budget development starts in August every year, runs through December when we get the governor's budget, and then of course really it continues for us here at the museum through mid-May is typically when we find out about amendments. You should have in your packet a draft budget. If you want to draw everybody's attention, again, it's a similar but less technical update to the total anticipated operating funds. The packet has 4,744,000. I would need to update that to 4,831,000 moving forward. Again, draft budget here, everything's looking good. The governor saw fit to add a 3% for staff, so 3% increases to salaries, and then level funding across the board. We do have some amendments in, which we should have all the answers for by May. So by the time I see you guys again, I'll have a formalized budget to present and to have you guys vote on.
And I just want to also point out that Jonathan worked with all the team members and so forth, and we looked at projections. I just want to point out that we're anticipating admissions based upon trends of increasing visitation, but also don't forget that we also adjusted our fees for the first time in many years. So we had a slight increase in admission fees, memberships, participation in events and so forth. So we're anticipating a 9.1% increase in admissions. We're looking at a 14.3% increase projected in restricted gifts. And classes and workshops run by Christy, we're expecting a little over 19% increase in that. And that just comes, from the strategic thinking of the staff in terms of running proper and competitive pricing, but also because all of our programs are growing. So
fantastic. And just to echo what Dr. Benzing was saying earlier, it is an opaque process, but mark your calendars for February 22nd. That's when crossover happens. So that's when you kind of see there's a bunch of things happening in the background, really from the 1st of January through the end of February. But that's really the first sign we'll see of an official budget coming out of the Senate and House.
Good job.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. And Tom, thank you for representing the museum at the General Assembly, and look forward to if anyone can join on the 16th, 17th, please let Joe or Jennifer know. And Elizabeth Bailey, thank you for always being in these meetings with us in person generally, but today virtually, and representing the foundation. And I do want to note that in 2025, our Board of Trustees had 100% board giving, which is really important to just to the message that we share with potential funders and future grants, and in addition to being members ourselves of the museum. So thanks to all the staff for those updates. And at this time, the board will move in a closed session, and I'll entertain a motion to enter closed session in accordance with the Virginia Freedom of Information Act.
I move that the Board of Trustees of the Virginia Museum of Natural History enter closed session for consultation with legal counsel pertaining to actual or probable litigation pursuant to the Virginia Freedom of Information Act 2.2-3711A7, and consultation with legal counsel pursuant to the Virginia Freedom of Information Act Code 2.2-3711A8.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right.
I'll vote for this one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Well, I will let you do a roll call.
Okay. Dr. Tom Benzing,
Aye.
Sarah Bowman,
Aye.
Richard Bratcher,
Aye.
Lisa Carter,
Aye.
Melanie Clark,
Aye.
Will Clements,
Aye.
Art Evans,
Aye.
David Firth,
Aye.
Lauren Hall,
Aye.
Kathy Hinker,
Aye.
Emma is absent for the vote, Catherine McGuire,
Aye.
Carol Nash,
Aye.
Nathan Sanford,
Aye.
and Mindy Van de Velder.
Aye.
Thank you. We can all go to closed session at this point. Zach, if you'll send us to the breakout room.
Next is the certification of closed session as required by law. I will ask for a motion to certify that only matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements were discussed.
So moved.
Second.
Lauren, you need to read your certification.
Okay,
Yeah, thank
sorry
you.
guys, I was moving slow. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Virginia Museum of Natural History convened in closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative record vote in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas Virginia Code 2.2-3712 requires a certification by this board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with the Virginia law. Now it be resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Virginia Museum of Natural History hereby certifies that, to the best of each member's knowledge, that one, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements under Virginia law, and two, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered in the closed meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Virginia Museum of Natural History.
Now I'll second it.
Well, I have to take a roll call vote, but I'll let you go first, Tom.
Aye.
Sarah Bowman,
Aye.
Dick Bratcher. Did we lose Dick?
No.
No. You're muted.
Aye.
Lisa Carter,
Aye.
Melanie Clark,
Aye.
Will Clements,
Aye.
Art Evans,
Aye.
David Firth,
Aye.
Lauren Hall,
Aye.
Kathy Hinker.
Aye.
Emma is absent for the vote. Catherine McGuire,
Aye.
Carol Nash,
Aye.
Nathan Sanford,
Aye.
and Mindy Vandevelder.
Aye.
Thank you.
The closed session is certified. I'd like to move to announcements and open discussion. These have been shared, but just want to remind you that we do have tomorrow, Science Saturday Bug Day from 10 to 2. And not only are our scientists, researchers out with collections, but also there will be special hands-on bug-themed activities led by our museum's educators, as well as partners and volunteers. And thank you, Tom, for reminding me that we have another science talk at the Wayne Theater on the 17th of February. And he is absolutely correct. Just follow us on Facebook. It is the best way to get an automatic notification. And if you're not on Facebook, join and just follow the museum, and that's all you'll hear about. But it's a great way to watch. I've enjoyed those from wherever I am, whether I'm traveling or at home. So that's the best way to receive those updates. Also on the February 19th, we have the VA 250. And then, of course, Saturday, March 21st at 6 is Starlington. I just want to note the foundation's super supportive of those events, and so is our staff. They really go above and beyond to put those events on. So if you're able to attend, great. And if you're able to donate something to the auction, that would be appreciated as well. Does anyone else have anything else to add regarding announcements or any news?
I just want to share, I know it was said earlier, but I really appreciate Art's leadership in the Research and Collections Committee over the years. And so I want to thank you, Art, for that and for the fellowship that we've had over the years.
Okay, well, I look forward to seeing you in May in person. And if there's no further business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, thank you. Be safe this weekend.
Bye, everyone. Enjoy your Saturdays.